when we did junior WAEC, and people were like, oh, your WAEC result is good. Why not go to the sciences? I knew that I would just be a part of the number. If I went to sciences, my Yakubu would manage. I would struggle. I just knew that I would just be like a leopard trying to swim. So I knew that going to arts, I wanted to do the best things that art had to offer, and I knew that law it is.
You do a lot of things, and you do them all so well. What do we call it? Poetry. You could write songs. You could sing songs. At what point did you discover all of that?
Yes, I've always been good with words. When a new word is introduced, I just somehow knew the meaning of the word.
You attended University of Ilorin.
Yes.
What was it like being a law student in University of Ilorin?
It took a while for me to grow into it, and I even used to think 100 level 200. I'm not even going to practice this law stuff, especially when I heard that lawyers new wigs get paid maybe 30,000 naira. I was like, for what?
Welcome to another episode of Legal Convo. That's the podcast where we come and speak about legal issues, life issues. We have interactions that are even beyond law, or that are even beyond, the courtroom or legal office and all. Today I have on the show a wonderful woman. This is going to be a very exciting episode for me personally, and for you. I promise you are going to enjoy it. Let me introduce her to you, and you are going to see a beautiful face just after now. This, my guest, is a spoken word artist. She's a writer. She's a songwriter. She's a poet. She's a lawyer. She's everything. And she's one exciting person, a personality, wonderful personality, talent, whole top of the roof and all. I'm speaking about no other person but barrister. I call her Dilo. Barrister Ayomini Olubiyi. This is the point where you clap. You are welcome on the show.
Thank you so much.
Let me start by congratulating you on your call to bar.
Thank you, sir.
Unfortunately, we could not attend over there, but we had a wonderful time, at your get-together party and all of that. Let's start from who is Ayomini?
Ayomini is a girl. Who is Ayomini? I'm a person that I love people, and I believe in people, and I believe in doing whatever you enjoy doing so long as it's legit. Because some people grow older and start regretting that, oh, I wish I did this when I was younger and all of that. So basically, live the life you love and love the life you live.
Live the life you love and love the life you live. That's deep. Now, you do a lot of things. I didn't remember to tell them that you are also a baker. You do a lot of things, and you do them all so well. Let me start from, how did you discover all of these talents that you have? At what point did you discover that you could write, you could do, what do we call it, poetry, you could write songs, you could sing songs? At what point did you discover all of that?
Okay. I think I grew into it over time. And then the writing aspect, I guess, I've always been good with words. I was still sharing with somebody recently that when I was in primary school, when a new word is introduced, I just somehow knew the meaning of the word. I didn't like, even if I've not interacted with the word before. So it came a time that my classmates in primary school, if a new word is introduced and they say, so who can tell us the meaning of this word? They're already nudging me and saying,
Go girl.
do your thing. So people used to call me English guru and all of that, but I didn't really feel like I spoke differently from others. But it was over time that I got to discover that, oh, I am good with words. And that's why I used the wordsmith as my pen name for quite some time. So yeah, so
Okay.
it's I just grew into it.
So you, I want to know at what, okay, you grew into it, but at what point did it become real, really, to you?
Okay. Um, it became real to me, generally, or the writing.
Yes, the writing, I think for you to sing, you also, okay, which one did you discover first? Is it that you could sing or that you could write?
Okay. First, I'll say that we humans were our biggest critics. So personally, I didn't feel like I could do any of those stuff. It was just external that people say, "Oh, this is nice." It's like I just used to feel like, oh, "Okay, this is
It's
basic
normal.
stuff. Everybody should be able to do this." Also, I thought it was over time that I discovered that, oh, this is good. Okay, so this singing and the writing, they're more or less like complementary, like
Okay.
Gary and sugar. They go together. So I wouldn't say, maybe I discovered the singing first, but I didn't feel like I was an exceptional singer. I felt like I just sing. But then the writing came along. Then the singing now became a necessary evil. Not evil per se, but it just became
A
a
part of,
yes, because after writing, at least the singing comes along. So people say, oh, the singing is also very nice, but I feel like I'm more of a writer than a singer, although I do both.
which one do you love most? Is it the writing or the, giving expression to it in writing or in singing or in spoken words? Which one do you really love most?
Which one do I love the most? That's a hard question. Which one do I love more? I think writing. I enjoy creating beautiful words, and then singing or making it to poetry is you giving life to
To
those
it,
words.
yeah.
So those two go together at the
So
end of
you
it.
enjoy
So when
both
I
together.
write it, it's more or less like they're dormant, and then you now make it into music or you make it into poetry, and then they spring up. It's like you breathing life into the words.
Into it. Wow.
So yeah.
Okay. So we are going to come back to that aspect of you now. Studying law. Let's talk about that. The law. Now, studying law. What inspired you to study law? I know your mom is a lawyer. Was she the reason why you study law, or what inspired you into studying law?
Okay, so what inspired me to study law was I've always loved to shoot for aim for the highest. So they said that is it if you aim for the stars and you maybe happen to fall, you land in the clouds or something. So I always thought, okay, aim as far as possible. And like I said, I discovered early that I was good with words, and so I knew that art was where I was going. So when I was in junior secondary school, when we did junior WAEC, and people were like, "Oh, your WAEC result is good. Why not go to the sciences?" I knew that I would just be a part of the number. If I
Hmm.
went to sciences, my Yakubu would manage, but I would struggle. I just knew that I would just be like a leopard trying to swim.
Hmm.
When I knew that I will thrive, I will survive, but in sciences, but I wasn't
You will
going to
not
thrive.
enjoy
So
yourself.
I knew that going to arts, I wanted to do the best things that art had to offer, and those were either mass communication or law. But I again knew that if mass communication, I can still present or something without necessarily having that degree.
Hmm.
But I can never practice law without having a law degree.
Hmm.
So I knew that if I'm going to school to do something, it has to be a professional course. And I knew that law it is, because that's like one of the most reputable professions in the world. I'm just being modest. I said one of the most. It is actually the most
Hmm.
reputable
You can say that
profession.
again.
So
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that is why I chose law. Not because my mom was a lawyer. It was just a coincidence. So, but it is still it's a plus that my mom is also a lawyer. But most people say, "Oh, is it because mommy is a lawyer? That's why you decided to follow mommy." That's not the case. I just thought, okay, what's the best thing that arts have to offer, and then I went for it, and it was law.
And I'm also aware of the story that you attended law school twice. One as a baby, and then one as a big baby. So tell us about that.
Yeah, like my mom was pregnant with my twin and I when she was in uni, and then my mom was married at the time. so,
Okay.
so when she went to law school, my twin and I were still very little. So she went with us for the program and everything. So yeah, I'm a lawyer by every standard, like on both sides. I went as a baby, and then when I grew older, I just went to validate what I already had.
What you already have.
Yes,
Okay, okay. So now let's talk about your experience as a law student. I'm sure you are fresh out of law school, so the memory is still very fresh. University, you attended University of Ilorin.
yes.
What was it like being a law student in University of Ilorin?
It was a lot because when I started off in University of Ilorin, I was first given English education. English, my first admission, I was given English education. I didn't take it. Then I was given English, but people were like, "I just take it. I know maybe a miracle can happen," and a miracle did happen. I was moved from English to law, and while I started that program, it was as though all of my classmates already knew what they were doing. They were quoting Latin maxims. I didn't even
At
understand.
at 100
They were
level.
checking the constitution and saying section 2, subsection 4. And then there were some people that were like so smart already. And you're wondering, I joined them from English.
At,
So it was like, are we in the same class? Will I ever be able to keep up? Usually, like before uni, I used to think I was smart. Like I thought I knew book. But uni, getting to faculty of law, it was like learning a new language. I started questioning that, do I really know book? But over time, I now started to enjoy the process. Like 300 level, I started to enjoy it, like law of thoughts, those courses. Before then, it was so abstract. It was like gibberish to me. And I was staying off campus. So maybe if I stayed on campus, it would have been easier to assimilate into the system, but it took a while for me to grow into it. And I even used to think 100 level, 200. I'm not even going to practice this law stuff, especially when I heard that lawyers, new wigs get paid maybe 30,000 naira. I was like, for what? For all this wala? But over time, I grew to love the profession. Yes.
okay, we are still going to come to the issue of remuneration for young lawyers and all of that. I want to hear your opinion about that. But what would you have to say to somebody who, I know a lot of people who wanted to study a kind of course, maybe medicine or law, and then they give them, Nigerian factor, they give them all manners of courses, and then after a while they lose, or they feel like, let me just take it, and before you know it, they lose sense of that original course they want to do and everything. If you have somebody who, for instance, wants to study law and maybe makes an attempt to get into the university, and then they give somebody like that English education just like they give to you, how are you going to advise that person?
Okay, when you asked me at the beginning of the show that who is Ayomini, one of the things I said is live the life you love and love the life you live. It is good to do the things that you want to do so you don't grow up and become a bitter person. I usually say that most of the older folks are very angry today is because they wanted to do some things, they didn't get to do it. Maybe their mom said, don't do it, and they couldn't do it. So now they're older, they're bitter. So they'll see the children playing outside, okay, get inside the house because they didn't get to do all of those things. So they are just by default angry
Angry.
and frustrated. So if you don't want to be an angry or frustrated person in years to come, it is good to do the things that you wanted to do when you have the chance to do it. In law school, there were several grandpas, several grandparents, some men that could not stand properly, but they still wanted that law degree and they still went for it. So whoever wants law and you're convinced that this is what I want to do, go for it. If they gave you something else, if you're going to do it and then start your program again, don't lose sight of what you want to do, because whenever you see call to bar pictures, whenever you see people doing the things that you wanted to do, there will be a slight tang of hurt in your heart that, oh, and I wanted
And
to do this
that
thing.
could have
And
been me.
yeah, that could have been me. You always think of, and I wanted, like, almost there, almost like that's not a good, what's it called, on your life resume at the end of the day.
I seriously agree with that. Now I don't know what your experience was like in the university, but for somebody like me and most of my mates, or maybe even the people that graduated before us, we were exposed to doing, before the show, I was saying that Like my 100 level, I did 10 courses in my first semester, only one law course, and every other one was outside of law. And most of the places we get to, political science, sociology, history, English, religion, we discover that most of the lecturers or most of the students there actually wanted to be law students or wanted to be lawyers. And they ended up in those faculties, and then they vent that anger
Mm.
on us. I don't know if you had that kind of experience during your own time.
Heard about people generally were angry. A lot of people were angry, and when I was in school, one of the things that I used to try to do is whenever I was wearing my law uniform, I tried to greet people and say hello because they've already said, "Oh, law students are proud." So I
Oh,
was really trying to beat
so
the
I
narrative.
think it's a generational
So
thing.
they
All
just felt
generation they are going to
because
say it.
they don't have it, so they feel, "Oh, what is it say? These law students are always doing too much." It's because you are paying attention to them. That's why you even know that they have a personality trait or whatever. So yes, a lot of people were not pleased because they wanted it, they didn't get it, and somehow they were angry with the people that had what they wanted,
Wanted.
but they didn't get.
Okay, so let's go to law school. Ah, everybody, law school, the almighty law school. What was the experience like for you?
I think law school was another place where I think the way law school is wired, one of the first things that law school will do is to break your wings.
Hmm.
If you feel that you're smart, because I said 100 level in university, I felt like I started second guessing a little. But after that time,
You
I
grew into
braced myself and then I regained my confidence as the person that knows book that I am. Permit my English. So getting to law school again, one of the first things they wired or conditioned into our minds is that you guys don't know anything.
whatever you think you
Whatever
knew.
you think just trash it, put it in the bin. And that was so true. If you come to law school with the mind of I know what they want to teach me, I know you will fail. Just listen to whatever they say. It was more or less like a garbage in, garbage out system. But the garbage that was coming in was a lot to take in all at once. Like we were doing like a year's 4 years worth of work
In less
compressed
than six
into
months.
about, yeah, I was going to say
Because the
9 months
coursework
because
is
we
in
will still go for externship in
externship and
between.
all.
So compressed into about 6 months. So it was a lot. So yeah, law school was a lot, but we came through. We,
You came
we
through. So
survived.
what was your favorite course at the law school?
My favorite course at the law school was it was property law until we now started doing mortgage and all those things. And then property law was not like I thought we were friends. What's happening here? So will I say ethics? Ethics too had some complicated sides when we started calculating lawyers' remuneration. We started doing cash books and ledgers and all that. So did I have a favorite course in law school? all the courses had their pros and cons, but if I was still going to choose a course that I would say was my favorite, it's definitely not going to be corporate law. But over time too, we discovered that corporate law has some interesting sides, but criminal litigation, because of all the different aspects of this is what is applicable in the north, this is what is applicable in the south, it could be a little dicey, but it was interesting. Criminal litigation was interesting, but I'll still maybe give it to property law.
Property law. Okay, so you were talking about, while talking about ethics, you made mention of when you started calculating remuneration and all of that. Now, what have you heard about remuneration of lawyers?
New wigs.
You are interested about new weeks. Okay, so what have you heard?
First and foremost, you know how the Nigerians like to do comparison and all that. So they usually say that a successful lawyer is way better than a successful any other prestigious professional. But at the starting point, you will most likely you might suffer. Like that was what was wired into our minds. And some of these lawyers, when you see them in court, you're almost like, I don't want to be a lawyer again, please. I want to do other stuff. And like I said, I was skeptical about practicing because I felt that all this while for how much? But I think at the early stage, what will help a young lawyer, like I speak for myself and others that are in my shoes is not to be too focused on, I want to make all of the millions now. Maybe we should try to get the experience. This is easier to say than to do, but try to, at least maybe for 1 year, 2 years, like just focus on growing, so that when you start making demands, you'll not be an imposter to say this is what I charge, this is what because you've worked for it, like you've built yourself over time. So yeah.
There is a proposal that young lawyers should now have at least 2 years of internship before they can be allowed to practice. What do you think about that?
I think it
Like
is
pupillage, that you have to go to at least minimum of 2 years of pupillage before you are now allowed to maybe have your own personal practice and all. What do you think about it? How comfortable are you with that?
personally, I feel that a lot of years have already gone into the undergraduate program. For example, spent 5 years in university, then 1 year in law school. Um, Theoretically, because at the end of the day, if you factor in strike and all those other stuff, for example, I didn't get to go to law school immediately. We spent about 7 months there about before going to law school, and then we now still spent about 5 months or more because exams ended in December, and then we were called to bar in July.
Hmm.
So about 6 months.
6 months.
Yes, in between. So if you factor in all those years, where do you account for how do you account for those years in the trajectory of your life? Like, how do you say, oh, what do you say you did within that period? I was waiting for law school, I was waiting for this. So already with the way the system is, before you become a lawyer, you're spending about 8 years, 9 years, if you're lucky, because there are still people that spend several more years
More years.
before they get called to bar. So I don't think it is fair to enforce that 2 years privilege. You can learn on the job. While you're learning, you can be paid while you're, because the privilege
No,
is
no, no.
sounding like,
Now,
oh,
now let
you're
me
not.
clarify it. The fact that you are doing privilege does not mean that you will not be paid. What they are saying is because we see trends of lawyers come out of law school, immediately coming out of law school, they open their own law firm. That's what the bill is talking about, or the proposal is talking about. That no, that they will you will need to attach yourself to a law firm, work there under their pupillage, under their supervision, at least training, practical training for about 2 years before you are allowed to practice. All right, that's it. Is not saying that, oh, you will not be remunerated or
Okay.
anything. No,
But I
that's not
think
it.
instead of making that a separate 2 years, it can be infused into the program already. Like, you should be experiencing the pupillage. I know that there are some universities that their students usually go for internships and all of that during the holidays. So something like that should already be part of CLE's curriculum, that during the holidays you should attach yourself to this firm. It shouldn't only be in law school that you go for externship
Hmm.
while you are doing the program, so that you grow organically, so that way you're already exposed to practice before you're done. So when you're done, it is more or less like, now I have the license, I've been learning all along, I already know stuff, but now I have the license. That's just going to be the major difference. Not that you're done with school, you're done with law school, and you're still clueless about everything about the profession. If somebody studied medicine, for example, they already start going for clinicals and all of that while in school, but it's not that way yet for the legal profession. So I think it is something that we should do better. You should not keep people in school for, not now we're estimating about 6 years, normal
Normally,
on a
ideally.
normal, ideally. So let's just leave it at that 6 years. 6 years is still a lot. A child that is 6 years old is probably going to primary school already. So that 6 years should not just be for learning books and all of that. Practical learning should also be infused into the syllabus and the
So,
curriculum.
looking at your own personal experience, uni and law school, now looking at the curriculum, everything, if you are a policymaker or you are in a position to make a policy concerning that, what would you want to change in the whole process?
Okay. Generally, I think we as Nigerians, we associate success with suffering. So I don't think the program has to be that rigorous. There are some things that they make us cram, And in practice, you just make reference to some law books. I understand that training people that way will most likely bring the best out of them. But in the process, some people are stretched thin to breaking point, and some people can't cope. Some people lose their minds in law school. I don't think it has to be that bad. So trying to find ways to decluster the syllabus. For example, the undergraduate program is still fair enough, but the law school program, I think some of the things that are taught in law school can be infused in the undergraduate program. Personally, my own unpopular opinion is that 100 level is more or less is I don't know the point of 100 level.
If you say it, I agree with you.
The undergraduate program can be completed within 4 years, and you will learn every important thing that you need to learn. But I know that in some jurisdictions, they usually do they do another program first for like 3 years before you now get to study law. So I understand that before you become a lawyer, you at least should have gotten some experiential knowledge. Like, so they don't want children to be lawyers. So
Hmm.
I want to believe that's why they made the program to be very
That's
extensive and all that. So declustering the law school program will be the major thing. Like those drafts and all, you should not be hearing about charge and all
for the
for the
first
first
time.
time in law school.
I agree.
You should have learned some drafts from the undergraduate days. When I was in uni, one of our lecturers, he used to ensure that we made some drafts. So we drafted injunctions, we drafted leases, deed of assignment, and all those things. So when I was in law school, I was telling my roommate that, oh, we drafted something like this, but she was like, ah, you didn't do that way in my uni here. My uni was, and it wasn't like the school was my lecturer then was obliged to make us do it, but I just said,
He just
you will
wanted
do
to
this
help
thing
you.
in in law school, and in retrospect, you will appreciate what I am doing for you now, because you're like, why does this man make us draft? And but getting to law school, we appreciated what he did. So it should be part of the program already. Those things, like, you should not get to law school before you start hearing strange things. They should be infused in the undergraduate program.
Let's go back to law school, your school experience. What would you say your secret of passing law school? What's the secret? If you have to advise somebody who is going to the law school now, what would you say is the secret of clearing your law school exams?
I think the first one of them would be eliminating fear.
Hmm.
No mountain is too high that you cannot climb it. No mountain is insurmountable.
Hmm.
So knowing that law school is a lot, it is rigorous, but don't die before you die. They say cowards die a thousand
A
times.
thousand times before. Hmm.
So don't be a coward. Face it. Like when you know that you are studying law and you are going to go to law school, already start bracing yourself. Be giving yourself ginger. So yeah, eliminating fear one. And then don't think you know. Law school is not the place to go and be doing what they call I to know. That's not the place where just come humbly before them. You know how Catholics come in prayer. That's how you should go, very humble. Don't come and say, I know. No, no, just be very humble. Whatever your lecturer says, even if you know that, sir, that's not the position of the law. Just so long as that is the position of law school. Some of my colleagues used to make a jest. They used to say, sir, what is the position of law school on this matter?
On this matter.
Our lecturers will now say, there's no position of law school here. This is the position of the law. And we know in practice there are some things that are different from what is happening in law
Hmm.
school. So try as much as possible to know what the position of law school, allow me to say, is, so you can at least scale through. So
All
yeah.
right, welcome to the bar. Now, there are various many aspects of law that a lawyer can venture into, lecturing or any aspect of law practice. Maybe you want to go into commercial law practice, you want to go into litigation. Which area catches your fancy?
For now, I think I still enjoy the, the drafting aspects first, because I think it's pretty in movies when they say, my lord, may I, if I may, but I know that litigation is more difficult than it looks, so I want to experience it. I want to see what litigation looks like, but I think I would tilt over the years, I'll tilt more into being a solicitor than a barrister. But I don't know yet. The future is pregnant with possibilities.
Yeah.
But I will not shut out litigation completely. I will still experience litigation then. But I think I like corporate law more. That kind of stay in the office and just be signing billions and all of that.
Okay. Okay. Now let's go to that your creative part again. You're a songwriter. You have like how many songs do you have out now?
There's some that are out or maybe in movies and all that, but the ones that
Okay.
I've put out personally are
Like how
four.
many songs, movies, everything? Like how many songs have you done? Like,
I've lost count. Maybe like 30.
are
Because
you
there's some that I
serious?
write like for a theater production now. There's some that will write several songs for one theater production. So maybe like 30.
30 songs that are out now.
Not like for general consumption, but like maybe like okay. What do you mean by out? Let's clarify that.
Once okay, for instance, the ones you even did for theater, they have used it for theater,
Yes,
and
sir.
those things may be out in the
Yes, sir.
public. Yeah,
So
that's
maybe
the part.
but let's try to be modest. So let's reduce it to 2025.
2025.
Yes.
But the ones that are officially out as singles, like how many?
The four.
Four.
Yes, sir.
What are they?
I wish that one is on Audio Mac. Then Ego Beta. So I wish was in 2021. Ego Beta was in 2022. I wrote it in 2022. Put it out in 2023. Then Never Alone. I wrote it in 2023 or thereabout. I put it out in 2024. Then Law Student.
Lost Student.
I wrote that one in maybe 200 level or 300 level.
Wow.
And then I put it out when I was in law school.
So what informed that song? Lost Student. What informed it?
Shiggy Pro Max.
Really?
I think I was in 200 level then. Because when I put the song out in law school, a lot of people said they can relate to it. Like that was what they were listening to during the exams period. That thank you so much for this song. It's still relatable to this law school struggle. So many people thought it was law school that inspired it. But maybe I'm a prophet that I foresaw law school shaking. But it was the undergraduate, maybe 200 level. Or because an exam was close by. And I was just thinking about this exam, like, oh God, that beg. And that was how I got the
So
inspiration to write the song.
of all the songs that you have done, which is your favorite?
Ah,
Which one do you love most?
all of them, they're like my baby. But the one that people generally enjoy the most is You Go Better.
Go Better.
Lots of people love the song everywhere. There's some people that even call me Ego Better, like just because of
Maybe you
that song.
sing a part of it for us.
Yeah, so that song is one that a lot of people can relate to,
Okay.
and a lot of people love
Maybe
it.
sing a part of it for us.
One day, I go share testimony about the good Lord. Changed my story. He picked me from the mud and placed me on the throne. So I say, no need to worry. I know all will be fine.
The team member, they are using handkerchief.
Then the chorus, Ego better, oh, ego better, ego better, eh, ego better, ego better, oh, oh,
Ego Better.
oh, one day.
Ego Better. Wow, that's a song of hope, and I wish you all the best because
Thank you, sir.
I know there are still a lot ahead of you. By the way, the official song for this podcast, she
Oh,
made it.
true.
Yeah. You can raise the volume, let them hear it. Yeah,
Oh,
she wrote that
wow.
song. She wrote that
I'd
song.
even forgotten about that song. So that means when I was trying to count in my head, there are several songs that I missed out.
Wow.
It's an honor. Thank you.
That's very good. That's very good. Okay, so just before we wrap it up, are we expecting something soon? Another one. The last one was law student.
Yes,
You are no
sir.
longer a law student, so maybe you are going to do one for lawyers.
Yes. The interesting thing about law school was that music writing was my therapy in law school. Because if you don't have a little way of detaching yourself a little, you might actually lose your mind a little.
And drawn. The whole
So
thing.
in law school, there are times that when I'm studying, I just start writing songs. So the next song that you're expecting, I wrote it on my law school reading desk.
So this one is for lawyers, right?
No,
Ah,
no, but hopefully someday I would write something for lawyers as well.
okay, okay. And now that you experience what it means to be a lawyer,
Yes.
then you are going to write a song for us
I can't
that
say
we
I've
can relate to.
experienced
And
being a
no, no, no.
lawyer well, but over time,
Over
when I
time.
experienced it, I was like, song for lawyers.
Okay. I always like to ask all our guests on the show about politics. Do you have interest in politics? Are you seeing yourself maybe in the future in any area of politics?
New area of politics. I'm not sure right now because I can be very, very invested. You know, that ego better now is a song of hope. So if I dive into politics, I feel like I'll be so passionate about it, and I'm scared of being too invested, because if I'm too invested and then things are now falling apart, I'll be like, what's happening now? Like, I'll be so I don't know how to detach. If I'm in something, I'm all the way in. So if I'm in politics, I wouldn't say, that's how everybody's doing it. I will most likely be that person that she's doing too much, because um general standards might be
Too low.
too, yes. But if I eventually go into politics, it will be a lot, but maybe I will just do micro politics. But I've done little politics before.
Really?
In
Well,
my uni days,
oh,
yes, I
okay,
was
okay.
welfare secretary.
Oh, interesting. That's one form of
Yes, sir.
politics. So, from what you have said, is not um outrightly a no-no.
Yes, sir.
There is still possibility.
Yes, but now that I'm remembering that I've done little politics before, as welfare secretary, one of the things that I did was I put together an event where people learned how to sign. I do sign language to ASL. So I think using my platform, if I thinking about the fact that with politics you can use your platform to reshape the world, I might go into politics, because as a politician you get the opportunity not to just say I want this, I want that, but to be a part of that change that you're clamoring for. So I might do politics, or just try to be a good person in my own little scope.
On the on a final note now, what would you say your life philosophy is?
Okay, so Bible talks about the fact that the path of the just shines brighter and brighter until the perfect day. So it's not over until it's over. So my philosophy in life would be keep being hopeful. Don't die before you die. Like, keep living until your final breath, so that at the end of the day you die empty. So why at the end you're not feeling like, oh, I could have done this, I could have done it. Just keep being hopeful. And I usually say that when you stop hoping, then you start dying. So keep being hopeful, and the future is pregnant with possibilities, and it's only a matter of time before things start getting better.
Let me use that as a takeaway from this podcast. When you stop hoping, you start dying. No matter what you are going through, or no matter what you have been through, I like you have had a story, um, you have had the word of hope from her. Life is too beautiful for you to kill yourself before your time has come. There is still always, like they say, there is light at the end of the tunnel. So don't die before that light comes. There is always hope for you. And maybe for somebody who is watching this, suicide is not an option. Giving up is not an option. Giving up on your dream, throwing your dream into the trash just because you have had some challenges and all, is not the way to go. Thank you, Barrister Ayomini, for
Thank you
coming
so
to
much,
the
sir.
show for us. I'm sure that somebody has really enjoyed it. Somebody has, taken a word from all your stories and all, from all of this. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank
And
you.
for everyone who has watched this far, I want to say big thank you to you. My On behalf of myself and the entire team, we are saying thank you for watching. But what we want to also ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you are watching us on IG, on TikTok, please follow, like, share. Let other people also enjoy what you have enjoyed on this show. I want to say a big shout out to all our sponsors, all our partners who have believed in us, and we are also throwing it open for those who want to be a part of what we are doing. You believe in what we are doing and you want to be a part of it, to partner with us. The lines are open. Just reach out to us, and together we can do great things. Thank you. Until we come your way again next time. Have a wonderful day. Ayomini, what are you saying today?
Yeah, bye. Thank you for having me on the show.
You're
Bye,
welcome.
everyone.